entire life. Just because you ignore this. Just because you ignore this and you try to do this and this, you will mess up. Because this is about your esteem, self-esteem. It's got to be unconditional. If your esteem is not unconditional but it is conditional, you will never receive what you seek to achieve. When I say conditional, do you love yourself unconditionally? Do you like yourself unconditionally?
Yes.
Don't answer me. Because it's not true. Do you accept yourself unconditionally? Do you appreciate yourself unconditionally? Are you in awe of yourself unconditionally? Wow. Can you say wow about yourself? Just think about it. You ignore this, you're gone. Because you can't appreciate and accept yourself. Do what you may, have what you may, when it comes back to you. You can't deal with the situation because your esteem is too low, you've got to bring it up. Right? Because it's become conditional. It means my esteem is where? My esteem is so low. Well, how low is that? So we need to put that up. That's when it's based on conditions. Or you've got to make it conditional. I'll tell you an example. When a child is born, it doesn't know how to wipe their nose, doesn't know how to wipe their asses, don't know how to ask for food, they don't even know any language in the world, they know only how to cry. But people celebrate, people distribute sweets, people come flying all the way from different places just to see a child who has not got an MBA degree at all. That's what we call unconditional. A child can sign on one day and say, I'm going to enroll myself in humanity, the race of humanity, let me sign up and get born in India, in Bangalore, Chennai, or whatever. Let me sign up. Nobody signed up. Did you sign up before you came here? Nobody signed up, right? But since we are here, we do something to make sense of things around us, right? That's what we are always constantly doing. And that's how we see. We are in awe, right? When we see it, woohoo, wow, we do that. Now, think about yourself right now. Can you say, wow, Romy, wow, can you say that about yourself? It's a thing to reflect on, right? It's a thing to just think about. During all these years of programming, we have put along the way a lot of viruses along the way. And it's conditioned. Here you are, Tushar, and you discover the things, right, inside your mind. And it's based on condition. I need to do this, I need to have this in order for me to become this. I'll tell you what, in order to become, you don't have to have this too. That's what I'm trying to say. Because does the child do anything for you? Not yet. Does the child have anything? Not yet. But the child deserves what? And you still have the child with you. It's still there. It's never too late to have a happy child. Right? It's never too late to have a happy child. So, when you do this, it becomes conditional. Alright? So don't tie your esteeming. When I said esteeming, I'm talking about your self-esteem. Self-worth shouldn't be tied to anything. Whether you're a woman, you're a man, or whatever background you come from, what color of skin you are, nothing else. It's got to be unconditional. You don't have to be a white skin, a foreigner, to have an esteem like that. You can stand in New York at a platform, thousands of white Americans, and speak, and be able to be very comfortable with that. But it doesn't have anything to do with it. Whether you're Indian or you come from the darkest of place or the remotest of place, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with skin color, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with sex, whatever it is. You are just worth because you're worth it. God made you an original. Don't be a second grade copy of someone else. This means you're an original. There's no other Raja Ram. You may have the name, but not you. There's only one Parvat. There's only one Rupali that the husband would miss like anything. Right? There's only one. And that's very, I don't know how God is. It's really. So the message I'm trying to send you is don't let it be tied to what you do or have. So that once you have this is called actual wealth. Okay? We have something called the wealth matrix. I will be doing this later at some point in my life, a few years from now. What we have in Neurosemantic, there's a wealth workshop for 2 to 3 days, right? Where we can actually do that. So, unless this is wealthy, external, see, it's an inside-out wealth. Unless you are wealthy from the inside, you can never be wealthy on the outside. It's an inner game. Your inner game determines your outer game in life. What rules you set inside will determine what games you play outside. So what you play, it will always be determined by the rule you set for yourself. If the rule is, I got to be more fairer, I got to be more taller, I need to have more degree, I need to do this to become self-worth. To be worthy and say, wow, me! Then that will become conditioning. So remove that frame of conditioning for as far as this is concerned. It doesn't mean that you need to discount this or this, alright? I'm not saying you discount what you do, have to do, what you need to have, because these are things that we actually will eventually do and move towards. This is the inside, and these are the outsides. When you do and have, you can achieve more. Yeah? If you have billions like Bill Gates, you can give out billions. Warren Buffett or Buffett. You have more, you can give more. Wipro, Azim Premji, have more, give more. Right? So which means you have more, you can give more. But never tie them up to your self-worth. So if you see someone who's a millionaire, say, no, not like that. And you see cops bowing down before politicians, wiping their shoes. Why? The system of the matrix is corrupted them, but no choice. It's a system. It's corrupted. The matrix is full of viruses in the system, especially media. So, those are the things. Next, compelling enough. Is it compelling enough to make you move, do or die? Getting it? I'm going to do this, or you take my life right now. Now! Take my breath away. Those are what mission, oriented people do. I'm on a mission here. I've got to finish the job. No compromise. You've got to be content enough so that you're able to give up your life. That's compelling. Next, ecological balance is what I'm wanting right now, affecting any part of my system, the ecology where I live. Is it going to destroy my relationship with my family? Is it going to destroy my health? Is it going to affect my spirituality? You've got to question what you want, because everything you want may not be ecological. Right? I know of a friend of mine, Andrew Grant, who was one of the founding pioneers of neurosemantics. He's in Singapore, based in Singapore. He's the author of Self-Leadership, one of the bestseller of Self-Leadership. And he's been working overtime. You know, sometimes the outcome was that he would work many weeks or days in a month, and he actually overworked himself. So he was not ecological or working too much, where it started affecting his health. You getting it? So what you want has got to be ecological, spiritually, right? Career-wise, financially, it got to be ecological. If you have to come and join a course and do a course, it's got to be ecological, right? You've got to have that it doesn't affect you. If you're shifting your job from let's say, from being employed, right? Wake up, for example, to being unemployed, you have to see the ecology check. How ecological is going to be when I move out? Is it going to affect my financial system? And do I have a backup plan? If I have enough backup plan, then I can discount it. However, I can't discount the finances part. So that's ecology. If I want a career, then again, I need to see that job would give me pay like mad, crazy, whatever it is. But I need to see if it's ecological with my spirituality. Let's say it compromises my connection with God. You getting it? I may get a job, it may pay me well, but if it corrupts me from inside and gives me a job that is probably illegal, immoral, whatever it is that makes me compromise in other areas with my relationship with my God, what happens? It's not ecological. So, when you run an outcome pattern, well-formed outcome pattern with any client, it's your job to make sure it's ecological. This is one you can never miss out. Don't miss it out in the course. Ecology check. Always check ecology. Next, evidence procedure. That's very similar to the sensory base. Alright? What are the evidence that you need to see? Or procedure that will let you know when you achieve your outcome. So those are basically step-by-steps of evidence that you need to put across in order to reach from point A to point B. Are we clear on this? This is to give us a very, clear form of moving from present state to the desired state. Good enough? Alright. So, what we're going to do next is we'll sit across with someone, alright? Maybe spend 10 minutes each trying to run the well-formed outcome. Okay? This means we will do round robin. Once you finish, one will be the coach A, one will be the client. And once you finish the role and running all these 10 criteria of well-formed outcome, you change again. Alright? It's just to make yourself neurologically aware of how you understand of well-formed outcome. So which means sit with them and tell them what you want in life or whatever it is. Run them through it. Then they open up and tell us when do you want it, where do you want it, with who do you want it. How do you see yourself in terms of what do you need to see in order for you to know that it has arrived, that you have arrived. You need to hear someone say, good job, or your boss telling you, good job, your wife telling you, good job. What is this that you need to hear, see, or feel in order to know that it's already there, you got it. What time frame do you need it? Is it compelling enough? Is it coming from you? Right inside of you. What are the resources you need? So take them through all these things so that you learn a format of coaching someone. So basically this is a format. And the background is the score model. Right? So once you do this, this is way, from here on you can go back and start coaching. Start with free. Keep pro bono. If you want to start coaching people and see if you can get results. And apply all the different patterns that you will learn in one place. Apply them. It's about application and get experience. And one day, you don't even have to be a certified coach. Once you have experience and you have certain basic skills, eventually it will develop. You remember coaching is a new field, 1980s came out. Somebody just walked on it, walked 2 minutes, the competencies increased. You have these 8 basic competencies, that's enough to get you started. You know how to induce people, right? You know how to get rapport with people, get engagement with people. You know how to start questioning people precisely. You know how to detect patterns that will really do that. You begin to learn how to detect. That will make you a good coach. Alright, let's do coaching before we do meta programs. Meta programs, remember, it's every day if you see your start of the manual, every day you find a meta program. So that's very important. So what I'll do is, even if I don't finish meta program today, I will continue with along the day. Until the 8th day, I will cover some aspects of meta program all along the day. So don't worry. So pair up with someone, coach one another to help us.
It's like just what you want to answer, we should write first and then come the
For these 10 points,
once you're a coach, you will ask these questions. You listen. And once you think the client has answered satisfactorily, you feel the criteria, listen in, get the information. Once you feel it's satisfactory, go to the next. In order for you to get some of the help, there are more elaborate page number 17. Those are the questions that might get you started. But don't get lost in the details, remember. Because if you get lost in the details, some of them will get you carried away. Just get the frame, which is set, which is like compelling. So just frame your own questions about, is it compelling enough for you? Would you really give up something that's cool to you to be able to achieve that? So those are the questions you can come up with. If you have challenges, just follow the questions here. Alright? There's questions here. That's the